So hey guys, it is time to get to your questions and my answers. Last week I asked you guys to send me questions, whether it be theme park, Disney, Universal, horror nights, personal life, whatever you guys wanted to ask me, I am open to it. So between last week and then the 1,000 subscriber giveaway video where I also asked you for questions, I've got a ton of stuff to answer. So we're gonna get right into it. We'll see if I have to make this 2 videos or just 1 video. We'll see, there's a lot of questions. So I'm going to answer all of them because I am that person. So let's get to answering some questions. So Mara's Musing asks, Orlando or Tampa, Florida or California Disney, and why? What is your favorite amusement park, food, and drink? So, Orlando or Tampa? That's a tough one. I mean, I'm gonna pick Orlando, I think, just because that's where all the theme parks are. As far as actual city, I like Tampa better. It's near the water, it's just a prettier city, but Orlando has all the fun stuff. Florida or California Disney? This is a really tough one, and someone asked me a similar question, so I'm gonna wait to answer on that one because it's a little more specific. So we'll get to that. And my favorite amusement park, food or drink, I'm just gonna go with pretzels. Disney has like the jalapeno cheese pretzels. There's so many different varieties of pretzels. They have like the sweet cream cheese pretzels. I just love soft pretzels, and Disney has so many different varieties. And now SeaWorld and Busch Gardens have like their fancy pretzels, like bacon pretzels and mustard pretzels and pizza pretzels and all that. So pretzels. We're just gonna go with pretzels. So Anna from Thorson TV asks, what is the first thing you want to do at Disneyland and at Universal Hollywood? So for Disneyland, the first thing I want to do is ride Indiana Jones as many times as physically possible. But realistically, I think the first thing I'm gonna do is run to Hyperspace Mountain and get a fast pass, or if I'm at California Adventure, run to get a fast pass for Radiator Springs, because those are the 2 things that I know you have to get fast passes for. But if it were up to me and I had free reign at the park, I'd just go straight to Indiana Jones. I don't really know what to expect from Universal Hollywood. I've never been there, it's gonna be my first time. I know a lot of the rides repeat from Universal Orlando. So the one ride that I'm really looking forward to, aside from just the studio tour, because it's something we don't have, is the Mummy. Because I love our Mummy and I know their Mummy's different than ours. So I'm excited to see what their version is like. Anna from Thorson TV also asks, if you could only ride one ride at every park, Universal and Disney, what ride would it be? I'm sure you'll pick Dr. Doom. She's completely incorrect. Oh man, if I could only ride one ride at Universal, do I pick the Mummy or do I pick Spider-Man? That is the question. I think in the end, I would actually pick Spider-Man, just because it has so much to it, and it's the one ride that sticks out of my mind of like my first time going to Islands of Adventure was just being mind blown by Spider-Man. I love the Mummy too, but if I'm gonna ride it over and over and over, I think Spider-Man has a little more to offer. For Disney, it's easy. Spaceship Earth. I pick Spaceship Earth over and over and over till the end of time. There's no contest. I love Spaceship Earth. More from Anna. Anna from Thorson TV asks, would you ever consider doing a full marathon? And the answer to that is a resounding no. I've done 1 half marathon. I've got 3 half marathons coming up. And my first half marathon was like the ideal possible race. The weather was perfect. I had trained. I was just in a really good place. It was just, I think, the perfect conditions for a half marathon. I had a blast. My body cooperated. I really don't have any complaints about that race, aside from the fact that it was really cold before we started. But aside from that, it was fantastic. And that said, even on my perfect race day, when mile 12 came around and I was only a mile to the finish, my head went, wow, people do twice this distance? No, I'm good. I'm good. There was no part of me that has any desire to double the half marathon distance. 13 miles is just long enough for me. It's a challenge. It's a physical challenge for sure, and it's a mental challenge, but the marathon is just, no, that just seems like torture, mainly because of the amount of training you have to do to get ready for a marathon. I know myself, and I know that I will not ever commit to that. Not gonna happen. So Sophie asked, Would you ever want to try and see what Disneyland Paris is like? And that's a definite yes. I would love to see Disneyland Paris. I've never been out of the States aside from going to the Bahamas on that cruise last year, so I would love to go to Europe. I'm not sure I will make it to Disneyland Paris anytime soon, but I'm getting really excited because Crispy S'more just went there and I can't wait for their vlogs. They'll get there eventually when they catch up on their vlogs, but I would love to go someday. Airy Beauty, I hope I said your name right, asks, do you have a flexible schedule where you can do so many things? And not really. I have a typical Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job, so I pretty much get the weekends off, and that's why kind of my vlogs have changed since moving to Sarasota, is that I only have the weekends to do things, and sometimes those weekends fill up. But I try to do as much as I can on those weekends and make the most of my trips. When I lived in Orlando, obviously I could go to theme parks whenever I wanted because I'd get off work and go straight to Disney. A little different now, but I still try to utilize my weekends to their full potential and go on as many adventures as possible. Louise, I hope that's how you say your name. I'm not actually positive of how to pronounce your name, so if I'm wrong, let me know. It was less of a personal question and more of a request that I go film more of the local wildlife, national parks, and more of my local area, and I would love to do that. We don't really have any national parks near me in Florida. Do we have any national parks in Florida? We have lots of state parks, but there's quite a few state parks near me, and that I can definitely do. Is Everglades a national park? Ooh, I feel dumb. But there are plenty of beautiful local places around me, and I would love to film those, so I will try to get to more of those. Ashley B says, you may not remember me, but if you do, you likely had no idea that I love your vlogs. Anyway, taking it back to indie band scene. If you could put together a concert lineup, 3 bands, 1 regional, 1 national, but 1 smaller headline huge band, what would they be? Alright, Ashley, I'm guessing you're the Ashley that was friends with me back in the college days during 1013 concept. Guessing that's you, based on the question. Seems like a likely guess. For the rest of you, when I was in college, I was super into the local music scene in Gainesville. That's kind of like, that's what I did in college. Gainesville had an awesome local music scene. I'm not sure if they still do because I'm not really that connected with Gainesville anymore, but there was a local band called 1013 Concept, and I think they ended up on America's Got Talent and a couple other places. But Ashley, if you're the Ashley I'm thinking of, Ashley and I were both friends with the band, and we actually road tripped together down to the Miami area for a Warped concert with them one year, and it was just a blast. So I'm a little embarrassed to admit, Ashley, that I have very little involvement with local music anymore. And I just moved to Sarasota, May? And I haven't even bothered to check into the music scene here. It's bad. It's just, I'm old and I just don't like to go out late anymore. That's my best explanation. But if I had to pick, I'm a bad music nerd these days, so I'm gonna change the question a little bit and just say, if there's one band right now touring, or if let's change it. If I could put 2 bands together and they're just gonna be big bands because that's where I'm at these days, I would love to see Coldplay because I've never seen them, and I would love to see Muse again. So if I could get like a Coldplay Muse tour, that would be amazing. I would love that. But yeah, I don't know any local bands anymore. I'm sorry, Ashley, I failed you. So I think this is gonna be the last question I get in before I have to switch my lighting because it's getting darker and darker. But Cutie Crafts asks, I was wondering what your first vlogging experience was like. Were you comfortable staring and talking to the camera in public when you first started out, or did it feel like it was awkward? It still feels like it's awkward at times. The easiest place to vlog is still the theme parks for me. I think because so many people are on their vacation, so many people have their cameras out, it's not that strange to see someone documenting their vacation, that I don't feel weird vlogging in theme parks. Now there are times when it's really busy at the parks and I'm walking through by myself that I feel like people are looking at me when I've got the camera and I'm like walking around talking to it. But in general, everyone's minding their own business in the theme parks. Everyone's focused on their own vacations. There's people doing stranger things than walking around talking to a camera. So I don't feel that self-conscious when I'm at Disney or Universal. Definitely not during horror nights because there's so much happening at horror nights that doesn't bother me. But just in my daily life, just today I was vlogging, I went to the mall and I didn't pull out my camera more than just a simple introduction because I chickened out. So it is still strange. If I'm with a friend, I don't mind as much. When I'm by myself, it does make me feel a little awkward sometimes. What's some good advice for someone who wants to try vlogging someday? Just get out there and do it. Just try it. I started off where I was watching a couple different daily vloggers, and it felt like an interesting excuse to get out and do more things and encourage myself to get out there. And even if nobody was gonna watch it, it was fun to edit it, and it was fun to learn this process. And I always wanted to be on like Real World when I was little, before it turned into like crazy Real World of the past decade. But when it first started off, you know, it was documentary style, just learning about people and people relating to each other. And so I actually auditioned for Real World when I was in college in like 2003. And that's what I was always interested in, that kind of entertainment. So for me, vlogging, talking to the camera, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like being in the real world, but I get to control the story, and I get to make sure that there's no like real drama in my life on videos. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in sharing what you have to say, if you're an open book and don't mind people being part of your life, then just go for it. Just grab a camera, try it. It's fun. You'll make new friends. That is a guarantee, which is like probably the best perk of it, is that this past year I've made some really great friendships through YouTube and through vlogging, so I highly recommend it. So with that, I am going to now switch angles on you, because as you can tell, it is getting really dark and I've lost the light, so BRB. Okay, so hi. Now coming to you from the opposite side of the room, because I've lost my lighting, and I hate filming under this lighting, but that's what happens when it's winter, and the light dies really quickly when you're trying to get stuff done on the weekend. So let's pick up where we left off. So Disney Donnie asked a few questions, but the first one was on the video, and he asked, what's the new camera that you're using to film your vlogs? My new camera is the Sony RX 100, 1000, whatever it's called. I'll put it down here. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's the Mark IV, so it's the newest Sony, and that was an anniversary, birthday, Christmas gift from Mike that I was not expecting whatsoever. He shocked me with that one. I've definitely been having some camera envy from other vloggers that I watch who were using the Sony, but it's an expensive camera, and I honestly probably wouldn't have forked over the dough myself to do it, because I just wouldn't have been able to justify it to myself. But he gave it to me, and I'm eternally grateful, because my Horror Nights footage was amazing, completely thanks to him, and it was an awesome gift. And like I said, because our anniversary is in August and my birthday's in November and then Christmas is in December, obviously, I wouldn't let him buy me anything else, because I was like, no, that was way above and beyond, and I love it. I love that camera, I really do. Z Crisks. Your name is now Z Crisks. Alright, so Z Chris gave me a prompt. It says, you receive a gift card of $100 for any theme park of your choosing during any time of year. Which park and how would you spend it? Another tough one. This is really tough, but I think I'm going to have to say Universal during Horror Nights, because let's say I didn't live in Florida anymore and I could only come to Orlando once a year with this $100 gift card you've given me. I would choose to come back during Horror Nights. Like, if I could only come to Universal in Florida once a year, I would come in October to Horror Nights, and I would spend way more than $100, but at least I have a discount. Horror Nights, I think without a doubt, as you all know, is my favorite thing. If I could only choose one thing to attend at the theme park all year long, it would be Horror Nights, and I miss it when it's gone. I love it the whole time it's here. I try to go as much as I possibly can. Needless to say, I love Horror Nights. It's my favorite thing. So it would be Universal Horror Nights. And I'd probably spend my own money to get in and spend $100 on merchandise. If the merchandise is like this past year, then that's completely a legitimate use of that $100 gift card. Smiling Sammy 123 asked, what made me start vlogging? And if I could visit 3 places in the world, where would you choose and why? So I kind of explained why I started vlogging. I was watching CTFXC and the Shaytards and Tim Tracker way back in the day, like 2011. And it looked like a fun excuse to get out and do things. I was at a time in my life where I was in a relationship that wasn't going 100% well, and so I needed a little bit of a distraction, a little bit of a project to give myself to do, and vlogging seemed like a fun thing to do, to like keep myself busy, keep myself mentally going, and that's what I did. I started just daily vlogging, and theme parks have always been my thing for years and years and years. I've loved Disney, loved Universal, and in college I went to Universal like every time I got the chance. So it was natural for me to want to go and film the theme parks. So when I moved back to Orlando, it was a no-brainer that I was going to start filming my trips because I was vlogging and I love the theme parks. It was natural. And if I could visit 3 places, I'll say the 3 places that are top of my list right now. I want to see pretty much all of Europe, but because I haven't been to Europe yet, my top 3 choices are England. I love Doctor Who and I love Harry Potter, and I have friends that live in that area and I would just love to start there. I know it's a more basic choice when you're like talking about where in the world would you want to visit, and I don't know if that makes me a stereotype, but I love British humor, I love British things. I want to go to England, and I want to go on the Doctor Who tour, and I want to go on the Harry Potter tour and spend a whole bunch of time around London and just see those sights. And if I could hop to Ireland and Scotland, I would like to do that too. Number 2 would be Germany. My family on my mom's side, my grandpa, and then also some of my family on my dad's side are all from Germany, so the majority of my heritage is German, and I would love to just take a whole tour of Germany. Mike is also really into German culture. He is also German, so that's definitely on our list to go to Germany. And number 3, if I can only pick one other, it'd be probably between Italy and Greece. And I would pick Greece, I think, as my number 3. I love history, obviously. I'm an anthropologist, if you don't know. So Greece has so much history. Not that, I mean, all of Europe has so much history, and that's why I want to go see all of it. But Italy's got Rome. But no, I'm gonna say Greece. So England, Germany, Greece. That's gonna be it for part 1 of my question and answer session. Come back here on Monday to see part 2 where I finish the rest of the questions, because you guys asked so many. It's gonna be 2 videos. So I will see you guys on Monday. Bye. In preparation for my trip to California and in preparation for the Star Wars half marathon, did a little bit of shopping, and I got these ears. It's kind of funny to have to film when you have something on your head. I have to put my arm out so much farther than usual.